It's important to remember why boards were put into place originally. It's not meant to be an arm of the administration or a way to boost your social standing. Rather, a critical bridge between the community and the administration. This is big. If you don't agree or just are plain uninterested in doing the job the way it was intended, or if the job has just been more than you bargained for, please consider resigning. Because these positions are too important to be filled by those unwilling to represent the community and find win-win solutions that care for all students. Paying lip service really doesn't count. Number 2, stop hiding things from parents in the community. You may think you are taking control and doing your job, but what you fail to remember is treating parents like they are a nuisance and making important decisions behind closed doors, and then refusing to notify parents of these decisions always fails in the long run, one way or another. Even if you don't get caught, it's wrong and dishonest. Respect is a two-way street. It's not right to ask for something you are not willing to give yourself. Being kept in the dark makes folks pretty upset and willing to take action. Number 3, if you remained unconvinced on Wednesday, where the overwhelming majority of the community stood on the issue, despite the turnout, despite hearing from compassionate and articulate and caring parents, then you should have found a way and held off on the vote. Or maybe sometime in the last 2 years you could have taken a survey or done community input sessions, something, anything. You've been talking about the strategic plan, spending money to engage the community. Why on earth was the community not engaged in this issue? You should have told the feds, we'll figure this out on our own first and get back to you. Their lawless redefinition of Title IX is flat out wrong and not holding up in court. The Office for Civil Rights, curiously, despite its name, cares little about civil rights for all. The actions of the OCR shows it is only concerned with wants and demands of a few in the name of civil rights. To give in to them while claiming it was a compromise that respected all students, that was just a display of dishonesty and lack of leadership. A real compromise would have protected civil rights of all students while giving accommodations to those who need them. Sure, not everyone would have gotten what they wanted, but the civil rights for all, yes all, including those with unique privacy requests, would have been intact. Instead, you've opened the door to now actual civil rights violations. The proper answer would have been, see you in court, because the funding could not have been taken away without a fair hearing, at least according to the attorneys that I've counseled with. The way to give in to them was telling the other kids, you just aren't worth fighting for. And to console yourselves by saying, well, other districts are doing the same thing and they're not being transparent either, that's no excuse. 2 wrongs, 3 wrongs, however many wrongs do not make a right. Don't we tell our kids not to follow those making bad decisions? Why as adults would we follow along with the crowd on unlawful decisions rather than standing on our own? You're supposed to be role models. So where do we go from here? My personal recommendation, although I agree completely with the previous speaker, is to adopt a policy that separates bathrooms and locker rooms by anatomy. It's common sense, it's reasonable. If you refuse to do that and you don't understand where the community is on this, put it on the ballot in 2016. Per school code, by a vote of the majority of the members of the school board, may authorize an advisory question of public policy to be placed at the next regularly scheduled election in the school district. It's critical the community voice is heard. Thank you.
Confidence into our self-esteem. The locker room is already a judgmental place for girls, and adding male genitalia to the mix will only make it worse, especially when dealing with a period or other feminine hygiene issues that this student will never fully comprehend. I still want to be accepting and kind to this student, and I want to make them feel like they have a place at our school. I just don't think that that place should be in the girls' locker room. Please, I implore you to protect my rights and the rights of every other naturally born girl in this district.
Hello, my name is John Parker. I've been a resident of Schaumburg for about 20 years, and I've spoken to this board several times. First, I'd like to say my full support for Parents for Privacy. Fully stand behind them and boys just should not have access to the girls' locker room. That's pretty much a period. I also agree with the people that are asking for the resignation of the 5 board members that voted yes. I'm not sure how far that will go. I don't think it would have any teeth, but it sure would bring a lot of attention to a school board that really does try to hide from the facts. I'll start out by saying, seeing as this is the levy meeting, that District 211 officials lack a flat property tax levy. It's anything but a flat property tax levy. This is a 1% levy increase followed by a one-time rebate. So an indefinite tax increase followed by an indefinite tax increase followed by a one-time rebate. It's kind of like me, being your landlord, saying that I'm going to hold your rent flat. But flat meaning I'm going to rebate to you your first month's rent, and then the rent for the rest of the year is going to go up 30%. If we talk about transparency and being honest, we should start right here. It seems like you're earning the reputation, and I've actually warned you several times that this was going to happen. Now you're in the national spotlight. You can't keep hiding. Just tell the truth. Tell the people what's really going on here. They're very concerned about the excess money you have in cash reserves. Last I heard 70 million, 90 million, 150 million total, way far over and above what the state guidelines recommend. When you vote for scenario number 1, and the board members that are already made up their mind to vote for scenario number 1, what I would like to see in the name of transparency in a $245 million budget is give us a good reason why you voted for scenario 1 over scenario 2. It's $1.5 million difference. Do you need that money more than the people that are paying for it, for these schools? If you need that $1.5 million more than we do, then go ahead and do it. Otherwise, give it back, vote for scenario number 2. You're still going to probably wind up with $5 million more than you asked for, and that should be plenty. If any of the numbers or any of the things I've quoted now or in the past are wrong, I would like the superintendent to call me directly on the phone and prove to me why I'm wrong. What it boils down to is your short-term rebate is our long-term loss. Really give us a good reason why you're raising our taxes once again when you have a tremendous stockpile of cash sitting around and using it to pay for unnecessary capital improvements. Thank you very much.
Contingency dollars in our budgets. We've historically come in with a surplus in the last 2 years combined of $15 million. I think we could have done more.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I do, because I made a list of some of the benefits of going into this levy amount, that we do have a 0 increase, and then that is a flat levy. I learned that we've never had a 0% increase, at least over the last 10 years that we know of. So I think that that's a positive thing. And if I understand correctly, and maybe Dr. Cates might elaborate a little bit more, by allowing the $1.3 million for the following year as far as an abatement, that helps us keep a little bit more even of a keel and allows for some flexibility in what may come in budget. I know that we're looking at some of our capital expenditures, and since we do have cash reserves, one of the options is to use that $10 million out of the cash reserves as opposed to doing bonds. So I think that that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind. So I don't know if there's maybe a couple other things that you can highlight.
Sure. One of the highlights is that this cumulative amount then that we would have abated, is now would cross over to $30 million. That is all direct relief to the community, and that is a significant awareness and amount and a deliberate step that this board has taken to provide relief in this area. Our levy is a 0% increase, and as you say, not common at all. It is a combination of the total levy, and when we review that with the Cook County Clerk, Mrs. Hummel has provided some backup on that, and I think there is sometimes some misunderstanding about that or mischaracterization about the levy. But I do want to make it clear that the Cook County Clerk has confirmed that the total extension would be a 0% increase, and we're very pleased to be able to continue to provide and sustain the services and all of the programs that we have. For instance, tonight you have students asking us to provide additional services, and we have continually had to balance many different aspects, and we have been able to propose a levy for the coming year that is at a 0% increase while maintaining all of the programs and services that we have had in place.
Anyone else?
Yeah, it's more than 1 year. I mean, we've seen the projections and the different things going through that. Years out, we're going to start hitting a deficit amount. Staff has listened to us. We've been talking over the months, and we've gotten to a zero levy, and that we're abating back those dollar amounts. We could do that extra $1.3 million, but staff and experts out smarter than I are saying it's more prudent to hold it back for the next year or going forward. In the last finance meeting, we saw that staff is proposing that our expenditures next year are the same as they are this year, so we're holding that flat as well, which I think is great. So that's my 2 cents on that, but I appreciate the staff's effort on that and listening to us and listening to the community of getting a flat, don't be overtaxing us and, this community and making sure we're doing the right thing.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you for your comments. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hinshaw?
Aye.
Mr. Shearinghausen?
Aye.
Mrs. Klinkowitz?
Aye.
Mr. LaFever?
Aye.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Nay.
Mrs. Burke?
Aye. The next suggested motion is that the Board of Education adopt the resolution as presented to authorize and direct Cook County Clerk to abate a portion of the taxes levied for the year 2015 to pay the debt services on 9,995,000 school bonds, Series 2012 of Township High School District 211.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. LaFever?
Aye.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Aye.
Mrs. Klinkowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Shearinghausen?
Aye.
Mr. Hinshaw?
Aye.
Mrs. Burke?
Aye. This brings us to the Community Engagement and Strategic Plan. There's information. Are there any questions in regards to the information that was provided?